Cristiano Ronaldo left the grand hall, looking elegant in his fine suit and his shiny gold watch. The charity event in Valencia had just ended, and his team was waiting near his black Bugatti. But then something made him stop. In the distance, a woman was sitting on the ground, clutching a small old suitcase. Her brown hair was messy, and her face looked very tired. Even in the dim light, Cristiano could see that she had a big belly. She was about to have a baby soon. Cristiano felt something in his heart. He didn't like seeing people in distress. Without thinking much, he walked toward her. "Are you okay?" he asked, kneeling beside her. His voice was strong but kind. The woman looked up at him slowly. Her brown eyes seemed confused, and then suddenly she appeared to recognize him. I don't feel well," she said softly. "I need to get to a hospital." Cristiano frowned and quickly took out his phone. He made a call. "Bring the car now," he said, his voice serious. Then he looked at the woman again. "My name is Cristiano. What's yours?" "Isabel." "Isabel Moreno," she replied weakly. Cristiano nodded. At that moment, a large black car arrived. He carefully helped Isabel stand up, making sure she didn't get hurt. "Get in. We're going to the hospital." Inside the car, Isabel groaned slightly as she tried to sit comfortably. Cristiano sat beside her, watching her closely. She looked weak, but there was also something strong about her. When they arrived at the hospital, a nurse ran over with a wheelchair. "This woman needs help immediately. She's pregnant and not feeling well," Cristiano told the doctors. The hospital staff quickly took her inside. Cristiano wanted to leave, but something inside him told him, no. He crossed his arms and waited. After a while, a young doctor with her hair tied up in a messy bun approached him. "Isabel and the baby are fine, but she needs food, rest, and no stress," the doctor said. Cristiano nodded and asked if he could see her. Inside the hospital room, Isabel lay on the bed, her hands resting on her belly. She looked tired, but her eyes showed gratitude. "How do you feel?" Cristiano asked as he stepped closer. "Better, thanks to you," she whispered. "I had nowhere to go. I didn't know what to do." Cristiano sat down beside her. "Do you have family or friends who can help you?" Isabel shook her head. Her lips trembled as she tried not to cry. "My husband, Ricardo Sanchez, left me when I told him I was pregnant. Then I lost my job. I came here hoping for a new life, but everything got worse." Cristiano clenched his jaw. How could someone abandon a woman like her? It wasn't right. "That's terrible," he said. His voice was strong but warm. "Don't worry. We'll find a way to help you and your baby." Isabel looked at him, surprised. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." Cristiano looked at her for a moment before answering. "Because I can. And because no one should go through this alone." Isabel didn't say anything, but her eyes filled with tears. Cristiano knew he had done the right thing. But deep down he also felt that this was just the beginning of something bigger. The next afternoon, Cristiano drove his shiny Aston Martin to the hospital. People stared at him, but he didn't care. He only cared about helping Isabel. He walked into the hospital room. "Isabel, are you ready?" he asked gently. She was sitting on the bed looking at her hands. When she heard his voice, she looked up. Her eyes were full of emotions, gratitude but also doubt. She still didn't understand why he was being so kind. "Yes, I'm ready," she said softly, standing up slowly. Cristiano reached out to help her. She tried to stay strong, but he noticed that her fingers trembled a little. Without a word, he guided her out of the hospital to the car. As they drove through the city, Isabel gazed out the window. She didn't speak much. After a while, Cristiano spoke. "I have a place for you, a safe place where you can rest." Isabel turned to him, her eyes wide. "A place? What do you mean?" she asked cautiously. Cristiano gave her a small smile. "It's not a luxurious house, but it's comfortable and safe. It's a new beginning." Soon they arrived at a quiet street. There stood a small building. It was simple, not like the grand places Cristiano was used to. When they entered, Isabel let out a sigh. The apartment was small but cozy. There was a sofa, a warm bed, and even a little table with fresh fruit on it. On the table, there was a handwritten note. "Welcome. This is just the beginning." Cristiano set Isabel's suitcase on the floor. "This is your home for now," he said kindly. Isabel slowly walked around, touching the sofa as if making sure it was real. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. "But why? Why are you doing all this for me? You don't even know me." Her voice was small, filled with doubt. Cristiano looked at her, his face calm. "Because I want to. Because no one should feel alone when they need help." Cristiano crossed his arms and looked Isabel in the eyes. He wanted her to know she wasn't alone. Sometimes we just need someone to help us. Today I'm here to help you, he said. Isabel slowly nodded. She was thinking about everything that had happened, but she still felt afraid of her past. Cristiano saw it. As Isabel checked the kitchen, he pulled out his phone. He knew she needed help, and he was already making a plan. Later that day, after Isabel had gone to rest, Cristiano met with a lawyer named Antonio Diaz. He had hired Antonio to find out where a man named Ricardo Sanchez was. What have you found? Cristiano asked, adjusting his elegant watch. Antonio opened a file. Ricardo Sanchez is in Madrid, but there's something concerning. He's asking about Isabel. We don't know why, but he seems to be looking for her. Cristiano's face turned serious. The thought of Ricardo coming back to hurt Isabel made him furious. I want a restraining order now. He must stay away from her, he said firmly. Antonio nodded. I'll take care of it. But you should also make sure she's safe. Cristiano had already thought about that. He called his security team. He told them to install cameras and stronger locks at Isabel's home. He even hired a bodyguard to protect her without her knowing. While all of this was happening, Isabel was slowly getting used to her new life. But she still felt sad about everything that had happened. One afternoon, as they had coffee in the living room, Isabel spoke from the heart. Cristiano, I don't want you to think I don't appreciate what you're doing for me. But it's hard to believe my life will get better. You took so much from me. I don't think I can ever be happy again. Cristiano looked at her with kind but serious eyes. Isabel, I can't promise you that everything will be perfect. But I can help you find the strength to make things better. This isn't just for you. Your son also deserves a good future. And so do you. Isabel said nothing. But something in her eyes changed. For the first time she felt a little hope. But the past wasn't ready to let go. 2 days later, Antonio returned. He looked worried. Cristiano, we have a problem. Ricardo has hired someone to follow Isabel. He's closer than we thought. Cristiano frowned. He knew he had to act fast. A few weeks before the baby was born, Cristiano went to visit Isabel personally. This time he drove his shiny Porsche Taycan. When Isabel saw him, she gave him a small smile. But Cristiano noticed something in her expression. Cristiano, I didn't think I'd see you so soon. Has something happened? She asked, slightly worried. Cristiano shook his head and stepped inside the house. He sat on the small couch. Nothing bad has happened. In fact, I have something very important to tell you, he said, placing a folder on the table. Isabel looked at him curiously. Cristiano took a deep breath. Isabel, I know you're still afraid of what might happen. You've been through a lot, and I don't want you to ever feel alone again. That's why my CR7 Institute will take care of you and your daughter. His voice was firm yet warm. We have special programs for mothers like you. We'll help you with financial support, medical care, and even therapy. You'll have everything you need to start a new life. Isabel looked at him, her eyes filling with tears. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. It sounded too good to be true. I don't know what to say. No one has ever helped me like this. Why are you doing this, Cristiano? She asked, her voice trembling. Cristiano tilted his head slightly and looked at her with a gentle smile. Because I can. Because everyone deserves a second chance. And because if I had a sister or a friend in your situation, I'd want someone to help her too. Isabel couldn't hold back her tears any longer. But this time she cried out of happiness and relief. Finally, she saw an opportunity for a better life. Thank you. Thank you so much, she said, pressing her hand over her heart. Cristiano smiled and handed her a tissue. You don't have to thank me. Just promise me that one day when you're strong, you'll help someone else like I helped you. Isabel wiped her tears and nodded. It was the least she could do. When the day came for baby Valeria to be born, everything was different for Isabel. She now lived in a safe place, managed by the CR7 Institute. She had doctors taking care of her and friends who understood her. She was no longer alone. Cristiano visited her at the hospital. He looked as elegant as ever, but the most special thing of all was the tiny baby in his arms. He held Valeria, wrapped in a pink blanket, and smiled warmly. She's beautiful, Isabel. You have a strong and healthy daughter. That's what matters now, he said, looking at the baby with tenderness. Isabel watched him from her bed. Her heart was filled with emotion. She never thought someone like Cristiano Ronaldo would change her life so much. Cristiano, I don't know how to thank you. You've given us a new life, she said, her voice full of gratitude. Cristiano gently placed Valeria back in Isabel's arms and smiled. You don't have to thank me. You were always strong, Isabel. I just gave you a little help when you needed it most. Now it's up to you. Take care of your daughter and yourself. And don't forget what we talked about. When you're ready, help someone else." Isabel nodded, her eyes shining with determination. She gently touched Valeria's tiny cheek. For the first time in a long while, she felt safe and happy. Cristiano stood up and adjusted his elegant watch before grabbing his coat. "I have to go now. But you know where to find me if you need anything." "This isn't goodbye, Isabel. It's just the beginning." Isabel watched as he walked out of the room, as calm and confident as always. She smiled, knowing that her life was finally changing for the better. As Cristiano got into his Bugatti and drove through the streets of Valencia, he took a deep breath. He felt happy knowing he had helped someone. He couldn't change the whole world, but he had changed one life. And that was enough for now. If you enjoyed this story, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories filled with adventure, mystery, and excitement. Your support means the world, and it helps keep these stories coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.